already got the information. My topic for today is about the uses of cuteness, gender identity politics, and elections in Taiwan. Most of the part of my talk is based on the book I published in 2016, 2017. But today I definitely have some updated information, so you won't feel like, oh, it's a kind of an outdate of information about Taiwan. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I identify a particular Taiwanese culture or several features for you to understand Taiwanese culture, and I use election, politicians, persuasive methods to tell you what's going on there. And basically this book has some breakthrough. So basically I just, let me see how to control this. Did I move? Okay, yeah. Good. So basically, when I wrote this book, basically I have several breakthroughs. First of all, I guess this book is about a particular persuasive way. And if you know how to say the native term sajiao in Mandarin, and basically it's a not so perfect translation as playing cute in English. So my argument in this book is that I think this is one of the keywords you can learn to understand Taiwanese culture. Through playing cute, you can get an idea what Taiwanese culture is about. And so I offer two significant observations. First of all is that sajiao is not just a gender term. It's not just played by female, because in previous scholarship, a lot of scholars studying sajiao, but they think playing cute is a way of communication for women, not men. However, in my fieldwork, actually, I challenge this assumption. And secondly, in this book, I kind of elaborate this concept of sajiao from just the interpersonal levels of a communication to a broad understanding of Taiwanese society in general. So I demonstrate how we can understand Taiwanese culture through this native term, sajiao. And so you will see some examples today. I hope you will find very interesting. And by the way, the two images actually is hello Taiwan, a cute version of Taiwan, the island, and saying hello to everyone. Okay, but this is just an example, how cute Taiwanese culture could look like. Okay. All right. So let me give you a heads up what I'm going to cover for today. First of all, I will definitely introduce what sajiao is if you haven't never heard about the term, and what are some features in this particular communication practice. And secondly, I will give you some examples to talk about my fieldwork and also the updated observations, what the sajiao culture would look like, especially in politics in Taiwan. And also, I will offer some explanation how we can understand this cultural practice. Okay, so then let's start. What is sajiao? In dictionary, you can have this definition, 示爱作态. Basically, in English, you can translate it this way: to deliberately act in front of someone because of the awareness of the other person's affection. So in this short definition, we have two features. First, when you playing cute, you need to know that your audience has some special feeling about you, to maybe love feeling, or some affection, and sajiao could work. Your cute playing will work. Secondly, basically, it's a pretentious gesture. It's never nature. So you have to perform, you have to deliberately doing something to attract people's attention. Okay. And then I guess I want to argue that why playing cute is not so accurate translation, because in the Taiwanese context, sajiao definitely has more communicated features than just being cute. So I hope, I don't know if in Finnish, your language, you have some like an equivalent vocabulary to describe that phenomenon. But maybe during the Q&A, you can tell me. All right, so let's see some feature or previous studies. So sajiao is not something like unique I found, I discovered. Previous scholars has already done that research so far. But as I just mentioned earlier, their focus is that it's a women's way of speaking, so they already make the division before they study sajiao. So all the results would just feature, how women in Taiwan or women of Mandarin speakers would perform this particular way of speaking. And here are the scholars. If you are interested, definitely you can take a look of their works. But these scholars also has some contributions because they told us what are some features of sajiao. So on this page, these descriptions in black means they're from the previous scholars' discovery, and my findings about sajiao features are in red. So I actually built on my study based on previous scholars' discovery. So I guess there will include high pitch, elongation of some sounds, rising tone, nasal sound. And address form, there's particular address forms when people use the sajiao tone to call others, okay? And replication of monosyllabic words. So, for example, if you want to express eat rice in Mandarin Chinese, you say 吃饭. But if you want to add some cute elements, you can say 吃饭饭, 吃饭饭. So there is a kind of interesting variation when Mandarin speakers try to use the cute elements and communicate with others. They will try their best to play cute, So here are some more examples, but I know I only have 20 minutes. So if you're curious, I can do more demonstrations later during the Q&A, but not now, okay? All right, so keep that question in mind. So with these features, I went back to Taiwan and I tried to collect field works, how people actually do sajiao in everyday communication. So I went back to Taiwan when I was still a doctoral student. Several summers, I spent most of the time in Taipei, the capital. And I tried to identify those everyday communications happening in the public settings, identified with sajiao, with those features I just mentioned. So to my surprise, not only women performed sajiao in Taiwan, and I found a lot of men actually do that. And I also had a lot of cases to help me categorize the main functions of sajiao, why people do that, and not just playing cute, but they have more practical purpose when they do that. Especially the top three functions is greeting, apologizing, and negotiating. So when people need to apologize to others or try to negotiate things, you are easily seeing them performing this sajiao features. So I found this fascinating. And these examples are also included in my book. Another thing I mentioned in the book is elections. So I noticed that Taiwanese politicians tend to use this cute performance or sajiao features when they try to gain the support from their voters or ask the supporters to vote for them, right? So here are some examples I collected, and I believe the beginning of this cute performance by politicians started in 1994 or 1998 when our Taiwanese former president Chen Shui-bian was running for mayor election, although he failed. But he started to create this cute doll for his campaign. And since then, all the politicians more or less will create the cute versions of their personal image, like this social media stickers, and also when they are rally, and they will have this cute image to represent this candidate. And people may wonder why. And also another thing is that those cute gifts, souvenirs, they created during the campaign. So people can, like this piggy bank, so people can donate money and return this piggy bank to the candidates, and then they will receive, sponsorship from their supporters. And these are just included in my book. But something new, because after I finished my book in 2016-17, I still visited Taiwan often, and I have the privilege to observe some kind of a political events in Taiwan. So for this one, during the COVID-19, to my surprise is that even the government adopted this cute performance, sajiao way to communicate with citizens. And these are the two examples during COVID-19. The first one, you can see how the cute performance is incorporated in their official message. That is, using cute animals, and also use sentence final particles. If you can read Mandarin Chinese, there is a way, 零 is 零是偶数 o. So 0 is a kind of an even number, and there is a o in the end of the sentence to create the cute feeling. Also the cute gesture of the animal, like a tail, the head. And the second one is also kind of a representative, because this figure is the highest leader of our executive office. So he actually has a cute image showing his back and butt to the audience, and try to emphasize, because during the COVID-19 period, people felt anxious and they were worried that they could not get enough very basic materials in everyday life. So like toilet papers, some fruit, some like eggs. So basically, he used this message to say that everybody just have one butt. You don't need to store a lot of toilet papers. So use a very humorous way to convince important message to the audience. And I think it's a very unique Taiwanese culture, because you don't see often in Asian cultures that the officials or the government try to kind of cutify themselves and deliver the message. So I guess I just want to connect you and understand why I emphasize sajiao, this native term. Okay. And here are more. When I was in Taiwan in 2021, basically I attended several referendum rallies. And here, these are the gifts I collected during these campaigns. You can see that pocket tissues, so the message is on the cover, but it's very practical, tissues for free. And masks, it was still during the COVID-19 time. And thunder sticks. I don't know if you know how to use it in a political rally, but I can show you. See? This is a kind of a cheer up and try to say, we are happy you're here to the speaker. And as Judy just mentioned, it's really passionate. People attended this rally in Taiwan. They want to have very good interactions with those politicians and those speakers on the stage. All right. And I guess I have two more examples to show you that what are the following projects I'm trying to continue this cute studies. First of all, I think I would like to study the Milk Tea Alliance, which is also across Asian young generations of social activists. They try to build solidarities or alliance when they try to protest to their own governments. So basically there is a cute performance when young protesters want to make their voices out, okay? And another thing, maybe a little bit sensitive, but I want to compare, different diplomatic exercise between China and Taiwan. So we see that China diplomatic style has been labeled as wolf warriors, and compared to Taiwan, it's cat warriors. And you can definitely see different style. One is more aggressive, right? And the other actually is more cute, submissive, but I wouldn't say it's like a soft. So there's a different way to show the world what Taiwan represents. Okay. So lastly, I know I kind of reached my 20 minutes, but as an interpretive communication scholar, I also want to offer some of my interpretations of this cultural phenomenon in Taiwan. So I actually, in the book, I use Desserteau's concept, the tactics of the weak. So basically, I think sajiao is not about gender, not really about gender, but it's about power relations. When you are in a vulnerable, helpless, powerless position, people tend to use sajiao as a way to confront or resist to the powerful. And it has been proved as an effective way to communication if you want to actually change the power dynamic. And particularly to Taiwan, I can give you two reasons. First, it's like the code of friendliness and intimacy, because Taiwanese people are really proud of their friendliness, and they are eager to build intimate relationship with strangers. So that's sajiao definitely is a form for them to do that. And also in the book, I also argue that Taiwan actually has been experienced salient Taiwanization movement and also democratization. And that open atmosphere actually created the sajiao culture for sure. And because one reason is that Taiwanese suddenly realized that, okay, if I identify ourselves as Taiwanese, actually it's a very small and weak country. And I guess it created kind of a collective feelings that maybe sajiao is a way for people to just communicate with their own people and also to the world. So I guess I will just stop here, and if you have further questions, welcome to ask during the Q&A session.